Hi, it's me, Daphne, and welcome back to my channel. Today I have an absolutely massive book haul to go through with you guys. I have 37 books I want to talk to you about. Obviously, I've collected these through the many months. A lot of them actually I've gotten for free on my Kindle and things like that, like free purchases, and then a bunch of other stuff. So I've got books that were gifted to me, I've got some book of the month, some books I purchased myself, and then a handful of books that I got at little free libraries. I'm gonna go through these books quickly because there are a lot of them, so let's just get started. First, I'm gonna go into the books that were gifted to me. So I have this one, An Extraordinary Union. My mom gifted this to me because I pet sat for her a couple months ago or a couple weeks ago, and I just thought that was really nice. It is a Black historical. Our heroine was a former slave. Now she is a spy for the Union Army. Our hero is a Secret Service person, and he is infiltrating a rebel enclave in Virginia. So they're both undercover agents, and it's their romance. So excited to see how that goes, and I'm sure it's going to be, you know, dark and sad because of the time period with slavery and all that, and obviously the Civil War, but I'm happy to have more Black historicals in my collection, and I'm very excited about this. Thanks, Mom. And then I recently just had my birthday as of filming this. It's November 1st. And some of my booktube friends got me books, which is so nice. So I really appreciate it. So this book is Falling into Bed with the Duke, and Hannah Blackwell gifted this to me. I'm gonna link her channel down below. Definitely check her out. She makes wonderful content, and she has an Etsy shop where she makes custom handmade bookmarks. So definitely check that out as well. I'll try to link it in my description also. Oh my God, I just read the back of this for the first time in at least a while, and it sounds so good. So our heroine is Minerva. She has decided to choose spinsterhood over fortune-hungry suitors, but she wants a night of pleasure. So she goes to this notorious establishment where ladies wear masks before choosing their lovers, and the handsome Duke of Ashbury is more than willing to satisfy this lady's desires. So they have their moment. He figures out that it's her. Now he's intrigued with her and wants to win her over, but he's like, how do you court a woman you've already thoroughly seduced? So it sounds so good. I'm very excited about this. Thank you, Hannah. And then my other lovely booktube friend, one of my besties here online, Sam, gifted me Fortuna Sworn, and this is a fantasy romance. I've heard a lot about this from Becca and the Books. She talks about this series a lot. It's like her friend, her author friend, and I'm hoping that me and Sam will buddy read this at some point when we're both on the same page and ready to dive in. So this book, it looks like Fortuna is trying to find her missing brother who's gone missing for 2 years, and she catches the eye of this powerful fairy, and he makes an offer that she can't resist. I think, if I remember from Becca's description, she can do something with nightmares. This main character isn't a human, even though she lives among humans. So very intrigued by this. I'm just so grateful. Thank you so much, Sam, for gifting this to me. Hi, I am popping in to interrupt this book haul because I just received another book in the mail, and it's from Sam again. She gifted me another book, 2 books. Thank you, Sam. You are so kind. I am definitely gonna have to treat you to some books in return. And it's the Traveling Cat Chronicles, and I'm so excited about this. I see people bawling their eyes out hysterically reading this book. It is about this older Japanese man, and I think he's trying to rehome his cat. I imagine he's sick, and the cat is a really main character. I think you get the cat's POV, and it's a little bit of a mystery, maybe figuring out why he's getting rid of the cat exactly, what the situation is. And everybody cries really hard. Thank you so much, Sam, for treating me so kindly and making me feel so special on my birthday. Love you. Back to the rest of the haul. Now let's talk about Book of the Month books. So I have only 3. I've been doing some skipping. because I have too many physical books on my collection that I need to read. I've been prioritizing my Kindle way more. But I have some books that I'm excited about. I picked up You Again, which is very fall inspired. It's such a vibe. I've talked about this on my Instagram stories. This is like a rom-com-y kind of vibe. So these two main characters don't have a good first impression of each other because they're both dating the same woman, and I think they end up both getting heartbroken by this person. They meet up years later and become friends, but it's not like a friends with benefits right off the bat because they're both really sad and they're like struggling for whatever reasons in their circumstances. This book also takes place in New York, which I love. I live in New York, so it's always fun for me to read books in New York because I know the area like fairly well, and it just makes me feel so much more immersed in the story when I can like walk around the city and be like, oh, we're in Washington Square Park, or oh, we're at this cafe, or like da-da-da-da. Like there are things that I can recognize or like visualize better just because I live in the city. So that's always super fun, and just like the fall vibes and the brownstones, I imagine, and the park, and just wonderful. Like even this background, I'm like, I probably know exactly where this is in Central Park. And I could just go there if I felt like it. I could read it there at the park. Wouldn't that be fun? Wow, what a vibe. Except I don't like being cold, but still. And then in my last book haul, I had shown you that I picked up Yours Truly by Abby Jimenez, and I believe that was the second book to this book, which is Part of Your World. Sorry if you can hear like the street noises. It's like a boat or something. But yes, I picked up this one, which is the first one in the series, if I understand the situation correctly. And I think it's just a case of like city girl, country boy. I think there's a bit of an age gap. I think she's older. And I know people prefer Yours Truly, but I picked this one for my birthday month free add-on. So I was like, I love reading things in order. Let me just get this anyway. So now I have it in my collection and I can read it before Yours Truly. And then the last book of the month book I have is TheLeftover Woman. This is a Chinese story, and it's so intriguing to me because it seems to be a story about a child that was adopted out of China into an American family, but I don't think the mother of the child wanted that, and she's going after her baby, maybe. It says Jasmine Yang arrives in New York City from a rural Chinese village without money or family support, fleeing a controlling husband on a desperate search for the daughter who was taken from her at birth. So it's a story of her search, and then I imagine the family that adopted the child, publishing executive Rebecca. So these two women's lives are gonna collide. It says it's also twisting, suspenseful, and surprisingly poignant. So I'm intrigued to see how this story unfolds. I'm sure it will be heart-wrenching and just interesting to see like the cultural dynamics and like conflicts and heartache and like loving a child. You know, they're both mothers, and like, yeah, it just sounds really dramatic and good. So very intrigued. And also the cover is heartbreaking already. It just like is so emotional. Let's go over some books that I bought myself. So the first one I'll talk to you about is Forget Me Not by Julie Soto. This one has been blowing up. I need to read this as soon as possible. I don't know why I've been dragging my feet. Also, I love the colors of this cover. All the romance girlies are absolutely loving this book. And you know, when that happens, sometimes I'm like, okay, I kind of wish I didn't get so wrapped up in the hype because that might warp my experience. I just want to like maybe like let my hype calm down a little bit before I go into this, but I'm sure it'll be great. I went into Heartless when the hype was really high and I still gave that 5 stars. So hopefully this will still be like 5-star vibes or just like really fun in general, you know what I mean? So very excited. This is about a wedding planner and a florist, and they have a past. I don't know if they were exes or like if they were almost a thing and then something happened, but I feel like our heroine is a little mad at this flower guy, and he's just like a hot florist with flower tattoos on him. Like, come on, that's amazing. So excited to dive into this. Had to pick that up. And then I also picked up this cute one, which is The Neighbor Favor. This is a like author story. They are both authors. This woman, she wants to be a children's book author, though she like writes other stuff that she's like not as passionate about. And I think he is like a sci-fi or fantasy writer that she really admires, but he has a pen name. So she moves and they're like emailing each other. I don't really know. I'm not describing this well, but they talk to each other, but they don't know each other's identities. He finds out her identity, but she doesn't know his identity. Blah, 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 blah. They're gonna fall in love. Super cute and charming. So I have this. Sorry for that explanation. That's all you're getting right now. We're moving on. I also picked up The House in the Cilan Sea. This is for my family book club. My mom's cousin reached out to me asking if I could help her launch a family book club and what books I would recommend. So I recommended this one. This is our first selection and I haven't read it yet, but I hear amazing reviews all the time. Obviously, it's a bestseller, as this little thing on the side says. I kind of wish I bought this at Barnes & Noble. I ordered it on Amazon because Barnes & Noble had like the blue sprayed edges one. Very excited to give this a chance. I'll probably annotate it, which will be fun. And hopefully we get a good turnout for the book club and people enjoy the book. And if you don't know what this is, it's like a fantasy about like magical orphan kids and this guy that works in like social services checking in on them, and he falls in love with like the caretaker of the children, I believe. I just hear that it's really heartwarming and a great read. These next 3 books I picked up in a vlog, which I can link in the corner for you, when I went to the Ripped Bodice. So the first one I have here is Captured by Beverly Jenkins. This is about a ship captain and the stunning slave he found on board a British frigate that he captured. So intrigued by that. Beautiful cover. And then I picked up A Touch of Darkness. My friends Maddie and Monica want to all a buddy read this together. Monica is going to listen to the audiobook and Maddie picked up a physical copy with me that same day. So yes, this is like Hades and Persephone's retelling. There are a couple of them floating around, so I'm excited to dive into my first one. This one I got in a blind date with a book at the Ripped Bodice. I knew it had to do with maybe like time travel, and I was like, oh, it's probably the 7-Year Slip, and I guessed right. And I'm very excited about this also. I was a little confused in the beginning because this author has done like a couple like magical realism, I guess, ones, or like paranormal things. She did The Dead Romantics, and then this one, like they're not living in the same time. So I'm like, how do you make a romance like that work where they're not living in the same time, and like the other one in the other book, he's like a ghost? Like, how do you make that work? But everybody loves those 2 books, and this one in particular has been getting amazing reviews, so excited to check it out, and hopefully I love it. These next 3 books were from my Dublin trip. I went to Dublin for work. I filmed a vlog. I talked about these books in them. You can check that out as well if you want to see me wandering around an Irish bookstore and a little more detail about me buying these books and the souvenirs I got for my loved ones and friends in the vlog. But I'll just quickly go through them. So of course I had to pick up some Irish book souvenirs. So all these books are Irish by Irish authors. And the first one is Normal People. Very basic, I know, but I had to do it. Normal People was something that was like kind of on my radar because Chloe from Chloe Bunny, aka Books with Chloe, I think her previous username was, is absolutely obsessed with this. She actually reread it in a vlog recently. I just want to read my favorite booktubers' favorite books. It takes place in Dublin. It's Irish. I had to get it, okay? That's all you need to know. It's a romance between Connell and Mariana. I think many years go by in this book. It starts out maybe in high school and then through their early adult years, and they love each other, but like, I think the timing is just never really right. And I think it's a little sad. Intrigued to finally give this a try. Maybe I'll annotate this. I'm not sure yet. We'll see. And then I'll talk about the next 2 together. So I have Binding 13 and Keeping 13 by Chloe Walsh. These are the UK editions. I got them in Dublin as well. These are Irish books. This is a part of a longer series, but this is also a duet with the same couple. So to get the full story of the couple you get in the first book, you need to read the second book, and then the series continues with another duet of another couple, I believe, and I think she just came out with the 5th book. This is about a rugby player and a young woman who's been bullied and has like a horrible life, and they fall in love, and I think it's very dramatic. Tori from A Novel Life loves this series, so again, want to read some of my favorite booktubers' favorite books. So giving this a try, and I love these editions a lot more than the American editions. All right, now I'm really gonna fly through the next handful of books because they're from little free libraries and I don't necessarily know that much about them. And then I still have to go through Kindle stuff. All right, so the first one I have here that I picked up was Joyland by Stephen King. I really want to get in my Stephen King era. I read one book by him, so I'm collecting more. Don't know that much about that one. I found another Stephen King. This is Skeleton Crew, and this is a collection of stories in here. There's a handful of them, so this will be perfect for when I just want a little spooky story and it's not a big commitment. Like, it's a thick book, but they're short stories, so it'll be fun to like slowly go through this. Excited to have more Stephen King. Hopefully I can get really into it. He always seems to have like a little bit of magical realism in his stuff. I also picked up this one, What Passes as Love. This seems to be a Black story and it's historical. Born into slavery, Dahlia never knew her mother, blah, blah, blah. And this Black woman is pretending to be white. She is passing as white in the 1800s, which sounds very dangerous. So maybe I'll get to this at some point. I don't know if the time in my life, like, I'll get to it soon, but I'm glad to have it. Maybe I'll read it when the time is right. And then I've seen Jodi Picoult around a lot, and they had this one at my mom's neighborhood in the little free library over there. This one's called 19 Minutes. This one, I'm not so sure about. We'll give it a try, but it might just go right back into another little free library if I don't get to it sooner than later. I'll give myself some time to try. But yeah, I think I was just like living off the high of just having a book. But I definitely want to give this a try. But if I don't love it right off the bat, like, let's just put it back into the little free library system. And then I found a gem. I found Ninth House in a little free library when I was out with Maddie. I have a reel about it on my Instagram. I think I posted it to TikTok and Shorts also. So yeah, that little free library was massive. Somebody must have dropped off a bunch of their stuff there in one go. Excited about this. I hear amazing things about it. Actually, I don't know. I either hear really good things or maybe people like love it or hate it. And I think the second book in the series recently came out. I think it took like 5 years for the second book to come out. And it's dark academia vibes. It's pretty much all I know. And magical stuff. I also found this one back home by my parents. It's East of Eden. This is like one of those classic vibes. It's a bit intimidating, but I'm also very intrigued. I have a lot of books like this. Maybe not a lot. I have a handful of books like this where I'm like really intrigued to like dive into these like classic vibe feeling books that are like heavier and just like more serious. Like I have this massive book called The Pillars of the Earth that I've talked about months ago, maybe even like last year, and I still haven't gotten to it because it's like intimidating. Like, this is an intimidating type of read. It's like about these families that are against each other, or there's like some kind of conflict, and it's reflecting like biblical stuff, i.e. the Eden, East of Eden, whatever references. Brutal novel follows the intertwined destinies of two families whose generations helplessly reenact the fall of Adam and Eve, the poisonous rivalry of Cain and Abel. Like, that sounds so interesting. I'm not very religious, so I don't know those stories super well, but still very, very intrigued about this. Okay, so those are all the physical books that I have. Let's talk about the Kindle books that I have. So I've bought 2 Kindle books recently, and then the rest I've gotten for free. So the first one I'll talk to you about is Games with the Orc. I read this one. This is by Catherine Moon. She wrote the Rooksgrave Manor series. This was fun. I think I gave it 4.5 stars. Very, very smutty. It's not something that I could read in like one go, I'd say, like straight through. I needed to read books in between because there's just like a lot of steamy scenes. Like, it's just like scene after scene after scene, which is fun, but also like I have to pace myself. But yeah, it was really fun, cute, steamy, a little kinky. So our heroine is looking to explore her sexuality, and she hires a professional, this orc guy, and she is orc bait. And she's just like his perfect match, and he can't help but fall in love with her. So that was fun. I also bought Transcendence. This was interesting. So I also read this one. This is like a caveman romance. Our heroine, for some reason, you don't know why in the beginning, is transported back in time. She's like a modern woman, and this caveman guy who's living alone because his like village burned down and his people died, finds her. So he's like pre-Homo sapien, like he doesn't really speak, he doesn't have, I don't know, like his brain is just not the same as like how humans are now, but he's just happy to not be alone anymore. And the whole book is from his perspective. It makes it interesting because we don't know what our heroine is thinking, and like the way he describes the things that she does, it's kind of hard to understand like what she's trying to do. Like she's trying to like make tools and stuff, or she's trying to talk to him and he literally has no idea what she's saying because he doesn't speak English. He doesn't speak at all. He's like, why is this woman making so much noise out of her mouth? He's like, he just wants her to be quiet. So yeah, it was interesting. And it spans a lot of time. It's a romance. It's kind of sweet and cute, but also I didn't love it as much as I wanted to. I think I gave it like a solid 3 stars, but some people are obsessed with it. They're like, I love this book. It's like one of my top favorite books. Definitely interesting. I'd recommend checking it out if you want like a caveman vibe. It's very different and unique. And then I downloaded this book called The Shallows on Amazon First Reads. It's giving thriller vibes, rich people vibes. Don't know that much about it. Let's move on. This next one I'm very, very excited about. So I've been seeing on TikTok and on YouTube, people are going crazy for Manacled. And apparently it's been out for a really long time, so it's going through a resurgence, even though this round of people talking about it is the first time I've ever heard about it. This is a Harry Potter fan fiction about Hermione and Draco, and it's got the Handmaid's Tale vibes. Everybody's dead pretty much, like Harry's dead, all this stuff, like it's tragic, like Voldemort won. I was sold on it because I saw Jess from Peace Love Books make a TikTok where she's like, this is me before reading Manacled. And then she cuts to after she finished the book and she is sobbing hysterically. And I just keep seeing other clips like this of other people and I'm like, okay, intrigued. Why are you crying hysterically? So yeah, that really sold me on it. I'm very curious, and since it's just a fan fiction, it's free to download, and you can download it to your Kindle, which was kind of why I didn't download it originally because I didn't know how to do that, but I figured it out. It's on my Kindle now. And they have audios for it. You can like download it on Spotify. So very accessible. So I downloaded Birthday Girl onto my Kindle. I read this on KU originally, but I saw that it was on sale for free and I was like, I'd rather own a copy, why not? This is super fun. So this is about our heroine. She is dating this guy who's her age. She's like 19, but he's a shithead. He like throws a party and like destroys their apartment, and their landlord kicks them out, so they have to move into her boyfriend's dad's house, and it's a romance between her and the dad. And that sounds creepy, but the way Penelope Douglas wrote this, she really made it work. It doesn't feel creepy. Like the dad is just like a really nice guy and he's trying to do the right thing. And there's not really cheating in it, I don't think. I think she's broken up with the boyfriend, but she still stays at the dad's house at his insistence because he knows she needs help. She's tight for cash and all this stuff and she's trying to better herself, blah, 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 blah. It was good. I really enjoyed it. Would recommend. I want to read more Penelope Douglas books. Then I downloaded this book called The Doctor. This is a part of a series that I think the Pool Boy is in. So I want to read things in order. I don't know if I have the Pool Boy. I think maybe I have it on KU, but I was able to get The Doctor for free. So excited to give that a try. I really don't know that much about it. I've probably read the synopsis a couple of times, but it was a while ago. Then I downloaded The Roommate Risk. This is by the same author that wrote that Brown Sisters series, I believe, and it just sounds so cute. It's got a lot of pining, so our heroine needed some help. I think something must have went wrong with her apartment, and she asks her guy best friend if she can move in with him, or like he offers to let her move in with him temporarily, and he's always been in love with her, and he's like, oh my god, maybe this was a mistake. How am I gonna resist her now that she's always nearby? So super cute. I should really get to that soon. I was very excited about it. Plus it has a curvy heroine, which we love, diverse characters, love that. The next couple books are books I think I just randomly downloaded because there was like a free Kindle Day event happening and they grabbed my attention for some reason or another. So I'm just gonna tell you the name of the book and I'll pop up the cover and we'll just keep it moving because I'm sure this video has been really long. So the first one I have here is Single Dad's Bride. No idea what that's about. Obviously, there's a single dad in it. It's probably forbidden taboo. Intrigued. Then I have something called Love Hurts. Very basic title. I have no idea what to go off of for that. Let me know if you guys have read any of these random free ones I've downloaded. Something called Filthy Sinner. Probably very smutty and fun. Again, it has hooked me in some way. I just don't recall. Then I have Silver Saints MC Volume 1. I think this is a collection of books that I have. Yeah, I think it's like a handful of the books. They must be quite short if I was gonna guess, and it's probably motorcycles because MC usually means motorcycle club. And then I downloaded something called Menace with a hot man in a flannel shirt. Looks like Small Town maybe. It says Moonshine Task Force series. No idea what that is. Then I have something called Illicit Education. Not much to go off for the cover here. The Intern Submission book. So workplace romance. She's an intern and he must be wealthy and powerful boss. Okay. I also have King of Beasts. Now I'm kind of like looking into it a little bit because I feel bad for not telling you anything at all. It's giving maybe mafia vibes, can't be certain. It says He Falls First, Forced Proximity, Angst, Family Feud, Arrangement with a Billionaire. So that's that one. I have something else called Derail. Ooh. And the tagline says, don't fall in love with your bandmate's girl. So rock star romance, I guess. And taboo because she's with somebody else. Intriguing. See, there is a reason I downloaded these books. And then the last book I'm gonna talk to you about is Charming Cruel Boys. Okay, so quickly looking over the synopsis, this is the first book in a duet and it says it ends in a cliffhanger, so already an issue with this download, but we'll see if I really like it. It's a new adult. She's a senior in high school and her father surprises her and says he's engaged to somebody and that the woman and her children are gonna be moving in with them. And those children, one of them is her ex and the other is his twin. And they're moving into her home. Intrigued, also concerned for her. All right, that concludes this book haul. It was many, many books. Thank you if you've made it this far into the video. I really appreciate you spending some time with me. If you enjoyed this video, please feel free to leave it a thumbs up and subscribe down below if you haven't already. And I will catch you in another video. Bye.